This is an open letter to my friends and family at NPR. Here's to you folks. You're doing a great job. I just had a few uh, footnotes here for the great job that you're doing. Here's the thing, I don't listen to anybody else. And this is called national public radio, so it's supposed to have some kind of a national identity, right? So I don't listen to the fox or the wolf. But you is sort of like I gotta listen to. It's called the national, and this is a nation by this name, and it's called NPR. So it's the national public radio. This is must have a very high standards. Okay, so therefore you listen to the high standards. I don't even want to hear the low standards. I just want to hear the high standard. Okay, high standards, folks. Do you have high standards? Because let's put it this way: I never heard you while you were describing a leader such as Assad, Bashar al-Assad. Uh, First of all, let me say I don't have any love lust with the Arabs. There's no love lust. Basically, I flunked at Arabic when I graduated high school. That's one or two subjects you could flunk at and still graduate from high school. One of them was Arabic. The other one was trigonometry. So I had two. I could have, graduated with two ish problematic subjects, and I did so. And these were the two problematic subjects. One of them was Arabic language. So I have no love lost for the Arabs. But when you start describing Bashar al-Assad as, this tyrant leader that no freedom, there's no freedom, while in the same conversation you never mentioned, but he does provide free healthcare to all his people. And he does provide free education for most of his people, all of his people, and free good education. With some geography and history, well learned geography and history. You basically leave education to college, sort of like here we go, 18 years. Here's a diploma for knowing a few songs and a few dance. So here's a diploma. But then, okay, if you go to college now, you got to get educated, which I've seen a lot of them not being educated either. Anyway, my point is this: you are the top of the shit, the top of the heap. Okay, love you, but why don't you cover the fact that these leaders that you say they're bad leaders, like Gaddafi, he was providing free healthcare to all his people. Are you doing that? Why don't you, have a straight bone in the body and say at the same time that you say, yes, he's a bad guy, but then say, oh, here we have somebody from that side. Please tell us about how much, free healthcare for all the people that he has under his jurisdiction. How is he that he's able to provide free healthcare for all of them? Because he doesn't have an empire to run. He has just Syria to run, and he makes a little money as a country, and he spends it on his people, and he's not stealing from them. The point is this: they have, and you know how? Because although they have a very small budget, they still are able to provide free healthcare to all their citizens. You have such a big budget, and you still not providing full healthcare to all your citizens, full free healthcare to all your citizens. This is a task that bad guy has been able to achieve, and you good guys haven't been able to achieve. So explain to me, how is it that bad and you're good? Is simple, task of providing healthcare to all its citizens that that shitty Betty guy was able to do, and free education and free higher education in many cases, and the rest of the Middle East, the bad guys in the Middle East. The good guys in the Middle East are basically Saudi Arabia and UAE because you got them, by the balls. The rest of the Middle East that you don't have by balls are, the bad guys. Why? These bad guys. Could you, in your newscasting, could you remind people that these that bad guys, by the way, we like to tell you that these bad guys have provided free healthcare for all their citizens and have provided good housing, decent housing for all their citizens. Considered, but either direct help or indirect help, the government has been pushing and being successful in trying to house people, most of the people. Have you done that as the shining city on the hill? No. So my point is this: how is it that you're standing so low and you're speaking so high and mighty? You know, education. I mean, your education budget is 1/20th of your defense budget. What are you defending if not a bunch of educated, behaved people? What are you defending? Show me a bunch of well-educated, well-behaved, well-informed people, and then tell me these people are worth defending. You're spending more on the defense than you're spending on the people that you're trying to defend. You're spending 20 times more on the defense of the people that you're trying to defend. You know, people mostly need education and housing and healthcare. And you, as the NPR spokesman, personalities, are totally, it's like, there's only two choices. Either you don't know, then you're not as intellectual as you thought you were. If you can't see it, it's right in front of you. If you can't tell the tree from the forest, then maybe you should quit and go back and take another look at yourself and say, am I, too mesmerized by this tree, imperial tree? I'm so mesmerized. I'm standing so close to this big imperial penis. I'm standing so close to this big imperial, tree, and it's just so great. But and you don't see behind you that the rest of the forest have been burned down. Are you fucking kidding me? My point is this: that exactly by taking the money and putting it in education and housing and healthcare, providing all of those services free to your public, then you don't have a defense budget, you have a healthcare and education and housing budget. And your defense budget goes down, and all the wars go away. All the wars is because your defense budget is 20 times the rest of your budget. Just take that money and spend it on your people, then there is no money to spend it on, trying to expand the empire or protect the empire or dominate the other empires. Folks, you haven't had it enough on Earth. This empire business. I have a feeling artificial intelligence controlling you motherfuckers is going to be a lot more pleasant than you guys being in control. At least there is some logic to artificial intelligence. I mean, some logic, some artificial intelligence makes informed decision. You guys are not even informing your public. Who knows whether you're informed or not? If you're not informed, what the hell are you doing there? Please go take a backpack, travel around the world, see the world, learn a little, and then when you have something to say, come back. But the idea that you're sitting on your ivory tower right next to the empire and staring at the glory of the empire, at the heart of the empire, and but not just being too mesmerized by being so close to the heart of the empire that you really don't see that there's so much light coming out for this blaze of the tree of the empire. There is this, so much light coming out that you really, your eyes can't see behind you what's going on at the edges of the empire. A few times that you dare travel, you see shit, and but still those reporters are not, allowed to report shit. Those reporters apparently are not allowed to say, oh, by the way, when I said, uh, you know, Bashar al-Assad killed so many people, but should I mention that all the people under his jurisdiction are entitled to a healthcare system, a use of a healthcare system, whether they can afford it or not. I need to add that to my reporting, that to tell you while I'm telling you how bad this motherfucker is. Are you fucking kidding me? We don't provide good health care to all our citizens, and we don't provide good housing to all of our citizens, and we certainly don't provide good education to all our citizens, because it's just too difficult, too expensive. But we can provide as much as you want for the defense. You want to have something worth defending, right? That comes if you first I have to educate your public, and then say, okay, now we have something to defend. I inform your public, educate your public, house your public, provide good health care to your public. Then say, oh no, now we need a bigger budget, defense budget, to protect what we got, because what we got is very special. Is it? I can, this is the specialness. I can say I'm special, but is the evidence there? Anybody can think they're special. And song and dance is not an evidence of being special. Building dreams is not something to be special. The special is to have the most informed, educated, well-behaved public on planet Earth. That is being special. To have the most educated, best housed, and best taken care of citizens of the whole planet. Then you can say, okay, now we did it to our citizens. You see our citizens, well educated, all informed. There is no pussy coming out of their mouth left and right in their songs. They're well informed, sophisticated. They don't drop words like that in the middle of their songs. Have you done that? No. So the educated, the public is not healthy, undereducated, and many not housed or suffering from, they have to pay all their paycheck for their rent. It's like the money left over from their rent is basically pays for a few cat food tins that apparently they have to consume because they can only afford the food that cats, that can be expandable for cats. That kind of budget. They're on cat food budget. They're not on human budget. You don't say this. You don't say Bashar al-Assad has provided some kind of a, universal safety net for all his people, just like Gaddafi. Gaddafi had all of this. You can read about it. You can talk about it on NPR. You can. I mean, unless you're worried about somebody from the government showing up and say, what the fuck are you talking about? Get the fuck out of here. If you're worried about that, please let everybody know that you're worried about somebody showing up. time somebody showing up with, with New Jersey accent. You know, if you're worried about that, everybody should know, because you're not telling the truth. No, you're not telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. There is some propaganda in the in the middle there. You're not telling the whole truth, saying that the bad guy that we just told you, Gaddafi, has all his people have access to free health care and more or less free education, and they're basically their citizens are very can't sit around and laze around, be lazy, because their government is basically spending all the money that their government is making on their people. Therefore, they can, although they don't have to the money to run an empire, they have enough to provide a reasonable life to their people, even though they're lazy. But still, as people of the land, I guess whatever the government makes from them and makes from trade with other nations should spend it on their own people, which Gaddafi was doing. If he was buying treasury bonds of, from New York, Uncle Sam's treasury bonds, I guess he would have been a good guy. Saudi Arabia, there are many sources, but very independent sources, are saying that like the poverty, 40% of the population of Saudi Arabia is living under the poverty line. 40% of 40. That's a big number for a country that has so much leftover money that, you know, half their wealth is sleeping in U.S. Treasury funds. So where is that money is going? Instead of them providing the same thing that Gaddafi was providing to his people, instead of them providing that to their people, so they don't have 40% living below the poverty line in Saudi Arabia, but you don't let that news come out. Nope. Folks, you're National Public Radio. You're the eyes and the ears of the public in North America, more or less. If you don't show both sides of the coin, that is not the truth. If you don't talk about one side of the coin at all, that's not the whole truth. And nothing but the truth is, you have a lot of propaganda in the middle of there. Propaganda in terms of, I understand, this is natural, that comes to humans. This propaganda that, our system is better, mine is better. You have this with, your cars, your wives, your cars, your jewelry is like mine is better. It's just this nonsense of trying to stand out from the tribe. But you have this, then between nations, this, mine is better. Everybody liked the idea of, mine first, when here's the thing, that Mr. Trump, my NPR friends, Mr. Trump is not the, the problem. He's he's a symptom of a problem. Mr. Trump is a symptom of a problem. The problem is that many who are supposed to be the eyes and ears of the empire are too close and too overwhelmed with the glory of the empire, with the shine of the empire, that your eyes cannot adjust to see the dark places in the empire. And you don't even notice that your own people don't need all this defense budget. They need a lot of education budget and healthcare budget and housing budget. Most of them can do with less, missiles and more roofs. Do you report that? Do you talk about that? Do you say that, okay, we who think we are the good guys, we haven't been able to provide these things for our citizens, our people. Many are suffering because of lack of these services that a tribe should provide to its citizens. Even the lazy ones, they're lazy because many are not well educated. Whose responsibility is that? this idea that home education of kids. Well, if you have a better education system, if the teachers are so well paid that many intelligent people and older people will be attracted to be teachers, if that is the case, you will have a good education system. But the job is so badly paid, and so their hands are so tied with regards to how to deal with children who have been, brought up not very strict with a lot of freedoms. So their hands are tied, and the children are not well behaved, and these folks are like 20 to 25 years old. Teachers who don't have, youngsters who don't have much responsibility, much need of an income, single, okay, becomes a teacher, or and they're not well educated. They haven't experienced any life. They got graduated from high school, a year or two of college, and now they're teachers. What life experience these folks have? Nothing. What are they supposed to teach from their wisdom of lifelong experience? Nope. So none of this comes up in NPR. That we don't invest in our education system, we don't invest in our healthcare system, we don't invest in our housing. Therefore, we get to have fun with a lot of, exploding things around the world. We get to have a lot of fun with them and try to show people how big our penis is. While, our people are suffering. Not the tribe doesn't have the services that the tribal leaders need to provide. The tribal leaders need to think of how to provide these services for the tribal members within their budget. Then the tribal leaders decide whether they want to spend their money in defense or healthcare of the tribe. Folks, it's not that hard to understand. This is what I'm saying. There's two options. If you're an NPR personality, reporter, host, whatever, if you are that, there's two options. If you don't get it, that not telling the whole truth is problematic, and you should tell the whole truth. If you don't get this, then you have no business being an NPR. You're not very bright. But if you do get it, but you choose not to speak up on it, not tell the whole truth, every time you say something bad, you should, about, for example, Bashar al-Assad. Every time you say something bad about him, you have to also mention something that he's doing good. And then let people decide. Yes, they do have free healthcare. We want to say Bashar al-Assad was bad. He killed 1,200 people over there and 5,000 people over there. But also, we like to remind you that they have free healthcare and free education in Syria. And now the next story. I think that should be done. You want to be the heart of the nation, the eyes of the nation, the brain of the nation. This is how you have to deal with it. We who don't have the budget for full health care for everybody, full housing, full education, we who don't have set aside the money for that are going to bomb those who do set the money aside for that. We who don't pay for education of our tribal members will set aside the money to buy arms to bomb those tribes who are trying to provide education for free to all members of their tribe. Do you see the problem here? If you don't get this, and you're sitting in NPR as any person in NPR, if you don't get this, you shouldn't be there because of lack of intelligence. If you do get this, you shouldn't be there because of lack of integrity. Sorry. Salute. I'm sorry. So there is a problem there that should be mentioned. Decide which one you are. Lack uninformed or with flexible morality. Most of these countries that these other tribes on planet Earth that you criticize, you Anglo-Saxons or people who were working for Anglo-Saxons, you white people of Northern Hemisphere, most of the people you criticize, most of those other tribes that you criticize, they are providing a much better standard of living for all their citizens, higher standard of living for all their life with quality for all their citizens that then you who keeps trying to hold the upper ground and saying somehow having a bigger missiles makes us better. Somehow, we going and bombing them makes us better and it's good for them. We have to kick their ass. You can't justify that. Logical is not justifiable. If you think that you can provide such a bad services or no service to members of the tribe, but then you have the right to take that money and try to beat up other tribes and show them the way. Freedom. Freedom of what? Freedom of order, freedom of civility. You like Afghanistan. That's how, all the arms were going to the bunch of fucking mountain people, mujahideen. Send the arms so Russia cannot bring order there. Okay, fine. You like disorder. You can buy things cheap when it's disorderly, and you can test missiles, I guess. Folks, you're going down exactly the British imperial way. At the same time that they were running an empire and running the rest of the world dry, their own people were, Dickensian level of poverty, had the Dickensian level of poverty, you know, all pickpockets, and there's no thought behind any orphanage, and there is no reasonable standard of living for their own citizens, no orphanages and kids turning into picking pockets to eat. That's England. That's the empire they run. Exactly. This Anglo-Saxon obsession with having an empire at the expense of their own citizens. Who's winning? Their own citizens are suffering. Those motherfuckers over there are suffering because we gotta show them we got the big penis. There's a natural order to things. It's a natural thing for just like Mexico and El Salvador and Nicaragua and all these small shitholes have to basically be reasonable with Uncle Sam's managers and not step out of line too much. Just as you expect these motherfuckers, including Canada and Mexico, just like you expect these motherfuckers not to step out of line, well, those guys over there, the Chinese, they will want those small shitty countries around them not to be too trigger happy. Well, easy, order, everybody wins. But somehow you want to keep security and safety. You understand the need to keep security and safety within the Central and hopefully South America. That you understand. But you think the rest of the world they should be in a tumultuous state. 365. Everybody fighting for their freedom here and there. Everybody must be free. Free to work for BlackRock. BlackRock or Bezos. Free. Folks, what I'm trying to say, with all due respect, my friends at the NPR, with all due respect, what I'm trying to say is you're not doing your job. It's either for lack of intelligence, hopefully not, or lack of integrity. But you have to mention that we who are just saying this, reporting this, we are looking down at our nose at all these motherfuckers. We are the good guys. And those motherfuckers who have been successful in providing good health care and good housing and good education to their people, those are the bad guys. You gotta have some nerve not to mention this every day. If you work for NPR, you have to have some kind of nerve not to mention this phrase every day. Every time you have to speak on NPR, you have to mention this phrase. That would mean you have integrity. Mention this phrase. We who are the good guys have not been able to provide good health, free health care and good housing, reasonable housing, and good education, really good education to all our people. We don't have the money for it. However, those people that in this news section we're going to tell you are the bad guys are the guys who have been able to put enough money together to provide health care, in many cases free education, even higher education, and free, reasonably priced housing for all their citizens. Those bad guys have those qualities, and we good guys have this quality. We have defense, good defense, and we keep going to those places where some cocksucker has taken control of things and is providing those services to his tribes, those necessary services to his tribe in a good way. Every time we go and bomb the motherfucker out and bring chaos. Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan. Twice, 3 times, 4 times. How many times Afghanistan have been taking in Anglo-Saxons up the ass in the past century? 2 centuries, 3 centuries. We are the good guys. A lot of good things comes out of our. Folks, you're not helping, and you, by not recognizing that you're not helping, you are hurting by pretending that it's not happening, pretending that no, this is the right way to do it. You should not spend money on education. You should spend more money on defense, because those are the bad guys. We have to go show them what is good. I'm sorry, you're just not being honest. You're not showing integrity, or you're uninformed, just happy-go-lucky and landed in NPR and decided that yes, this is a career. I'm going to be, very influential, and I know when to turn my eye and not notice some glaring evidence. I can't see those glaring evidence because I'm too mesmerized by the shine that is coming out of the empire, at the center of the empire. I'm too mesmerized to see that. Are you kidding me? Why not try it? Just every time you have to speak, you say, Hey, by the way, I want to mention that we are the good guys are not providing the basic services that we need to provide to our citizens. We are not doing that, but we have given them excellent security and excellent defense. You should mention that. And those bad guys have provided those necessary services that the tribal leaders should consider providing to their tribal member. Those are the bad guys, and we are going to bomb them into goodness. This phrase has to be said. But, I don't think so. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen because, no. But the good thing about this connectivity around the planet, the good thing about it is that it doesn't need you anymore. Doesn't need your uh, recognition. It's just when pictures come out and videos come out, which from now on is going to be, you know, if people don't see it on TikTok, they will see it on TokTik. Those pictures can come through the email, through messaging, this messaging, that messaging, the other messaging. Those horrible pictures show up. So it doesn't need an NPR reporter to be provided with cocktails in a Kuwaiti bar as a courtesy and inform that no, they cannot attend the front line because it's too dangerous. You, but over here we are providing you with cocktails. Isn't this better? Over there is dangerous. This is better. Cocktails? Cocktails and pussy. Anyway, the point is this. Now the people don't need you. And forget about Fox and Wolf. You folks are way biased. Way. And there are pictures and videos that proves that you're very biased. You're not showing integrity. You're not actually saying to anybody who tells you those people over there are bad, over there, you don't ask them that, okay, do our citizens have all good health care, good education? But those people you just called bad are providing good health care and education to their people. Why do you keep saying they're bad and we are good? Does any NPR reporter in your dream would say that? That should be said every day. In every interview with any think tank. Today we heard of Chatham House. Somebody with a big bank account, or a bunch of people with big bank accounts, have created a think tank, an institution in which some people are paid to express their views. And if they express your views are the kind of views that they like, they pay you for it. And they call you an expert. Today we heard of Chatham House, and again how bad the Syrians were. Bashar al-Assad is. This horrible man is providing healthcare for his people, housing, trying to provide a good education, good free, affordable free education. We, the good guys, are not doing none of that. But believe me, we are the good guys. Are you kidding me? Here's to integrity and intelligence.